We do a segment here in the program. If you're new to the program, since we changed our radio slot time, OriginOil.com is a company we've been following. You know, we do a segment called Small Caps Are People Too here on the program. And at the end of the day, we like to feature companies that sort of run under the radar. This has turned into sort of a birth of a public company, even though we didn't meet them during their inception. There's been so many great advances in their technology that we follow them on, and we're going to continue following this year. So OriginOil.com, in fact, bring up their website once again, guys. OriginOil.com website, breakthrough water cleanup technology for oil and gas, algae, and other water-intensive industries. We started talking to them about oil and gas, and we started talking to them about algae, and then we started talking about aquaculture and wastewater. Riggs Eckelberry joins us from Points Afar on the telephone, and we're going to bring in J.L. Kindler in just a second. Riggs, you got to be excited about it 2014, aren't you?
Oh, I'm super excited, guys, and you know, it's kind of, you know, it kind of coincides with you picking us up and started to cover us, and just things started to go better.
You know what?
Half of 2013.
Let's get that on tape, and I'm gonna put that on my message machine when Riggs calls me from now on. He'll just hear his voice say that. Really? Riggs, very exciting news for you folks. You picked up J.L. Kindler, Chief Commercial Officer of Origin Oil, a veteran of 25 years as both a top executive and engineer in environmental technologies. JL, come on in the studio, brother. We're good to talk to you, man.
Right on in.
Look at him.
Hello.
So welcome to the program, first of all, and welcome to Origin Oil.
Thank you.
I have to say. So let me ask you something. First of all, give us a background of what you did in your past life, and then give us a background of, or then give us kind of I guess talk to us about what you're thinking is going to happen with Origin Oil over the next 12 months.
Well, first, I have spent about 25 years of my life developing markets for environmental technologies. Been doing that from Japan, where I've spent about 20 years of my life. Wow. Been doing that from France too, and now I'm going to keep on doing that from the United States, joining Origin Oil.
So my question for you is, when you have a lot of options in your as a chief executive, a top executive.
That's right.
And I'm sure you had a lot of offers as well. What was it about Origin Oil that attracted you?
Well, first, the thing is that I have known and I have followed Origin Oil from its very, very early beginning. You may not know that I have been working with Riggs and with Nicholas Eckelberry, both
the mad professor.
Co-founders. That's
yeah.
right.
Let him out of the basement.
Yeah, right. We've been working together for at least 15 years, probably even more. So we have a very, very long history together.
Okay. Hey, listen, Riggs, I'm going to bring you in real quickly for some of the listeners, since we're in a new radio time slot here. We picked up a lot more affiliates this way. Why don't you give a quick overview, since I sort of glossed over what Origin Oil does, and sort of what you anticipate seeing JL do as a Chief Commercial Officer.
Yes, and you know, to give some context to why JL is here this morning, he was instrumental in a big announcement that we had last week that we had a major deal in Japan. We'll be covering that. What is our business? We are a technology company. We're about licensing our breakthrough technology. And it started out, really we thought we were going to revolutionize the algae industry, and we are, but our technology goes well beyond that. We've now learned that we can pull organic contaminants out of huge amounts of water with no chemicals and very low energy, and that's opened up a number of markets to us, including, of course, cleaning up the frack water that is really hurting our aquifers and so forth.
Yeah.
The interesting part of this that we have talked about over the course of the year, JL, is that you've got several different verticals here, with respect to algae, with respect to oil and gas, with respect to aquaculture. And I'm constantly in a battle with Riggs about what I think is going to be biggest. And he keeps banging the drum for oil and gas. And I keep thinking, aquaculture is feeding the world. Is oil and gas the leader here?
Well, we're really talking about three different markets here. And even you talk about aquaculture, we talk about oil and gas. But I still would not want to leave algae in the in the back of this story. Right. We definitely have different markets here. Aquaculture is extremely important. Oil and gas is really driving us today. Yeah. And algae will be driving us tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So these are different markets, so they need to be handled differently. But the real core technology we have, the EWS, electro-water separation, is something that works in these three different markets. We'll probably also work in other applications. Riggs was just talking about organics as a whole and large water bodies.
Well, let's talk about that. When we get back from the break, we've got some video that we want to show our television audience, and I'm going to direct the radio audience to a website, OriginOil.com.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. JL Kindler, Chief Commercial Officer, Origin Oil, joins us back after the break. Big Bish. Riggs Eckelberry, of course, CEO of Origin Oil, OriginOil.com. Their stock symbol is OOIL, and it's been interesting to watch this company as it's grown. Riggs, your hope and your aspirations for the company I don't think have changed from the beginning, but I think that you must be as pleased as anybody with sort of the direction that all of the verticals have gone in so far. Is Riggs still with us?
Talk a little bit about what is happening this year, and it started with this deal that my brother Nicholas, working with Jean-Louis, negotiated with our Japanese partners, where we have a large rollout of our technology into hydroponics in Japan, China, and South Korea, and in the 2014 and onwards, it's worth about $1 million in royalties. And this is where we're going to start kicking it with licensing deals that have huge leverage. We don't have to go out there with salespeople knocking on doors because we have the partners doing it for us, and we're going to start rolling out more and more of these. Expect a quick succession of appointments. After all, we didn't bring a French guy to the U.S. just because he knows wine, okay?
But that was part of it, clearly. You know, it's interesting because we're doing we're putting together a documentary, a Bizumentary for Biz TV, and I know that we got to witness a pretty cool cleanup, for lack of a better word, just last month, and I know that we're in the process of doing interviews. But the video that we're seeing on the website now, and the video we're seeing up on the screen right now, showing Nick Eckelberry, the chief inventor of this unbelievable technology. Really, there's a lot of before and after stuff here, and you see Jean-Louis talking about kind of how amazing this stuff is. So far, is it the algae cleanup? Is it the oil extraction? Is it the ammonia cleanup? Or is it all the above, Riggs? That's keeping you at the top of the game here.
Well, you have to be, equal to all your children, because otherwise, they start having issues and they have to go to psychiatrists and all that. Mm-hmm. So I have this point of view. They're all strong, but they have different timelines. Right now, we are building huge oil and gas processing machines. One's 1,500 barrels a day in the Monterey Formation. The other one's 5,000 barrels a day. It'll be out in Colorado. And then on from there, and this will generate big business, but it's going to take a while to build these things. Oil industry is very, conservative. And so while that's happening, short term, we're going to see a lot of action in the growth, the aquaculture, algae, and more we're seeing algae and aquaculture and all these other things combine into something that we call organic materials, for lack of a better word. So, we start doing, a feedlot, in cattle feedlot. We're not going to create a new division for that. It's going to be part of the same organics products division, and it's going to really divide between organic materials rather, and natural resources. And that's really the two big divisions that we're looking at. Because, for example, algae is used in aquaculture, so how are you going to separate the two?
Well, you've got to have the cleanest water in the planet. Now, what are you going to do with the water? Is you going to start bottling it? Are you going to sell it to Pepsi?
That's something we haven't talked about, Riggs, is what are you going to do with the water? I think we have a whole Aquafina company here coming up.
I'll take it.
Let me just wonder for a second. What do you do with clean water in this world? Since most of the water is dirty, I think we solve a major problem here.
Yeah, I think you did, exactly. Yeah. JL Kindler, by the way, is the new Chief Commercial Officer for the company, Jean-Louis Kindler. And you can read his bio by going to OriginOil.com. You'll also be able to see this again on BigBizShow.com. JL, let me ask you this. What do you see short-term for goals for you personally in the company, and long-term over the next 12 to 18 months?
Well, the real first short terms are first to get those oil and gas deals up and running.
Okay, so basically, top line revenue, get the deals
absolutely,
going.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, and Riggs just talked about that deal we had in Asia. We have also at the same time established an agency in Europe too. So our goals really are to begin to have a presence in Asia through our partners, our OEM partners, and also build our presence in Europe too, because obviously these are extremely important markets. So building presence, starting getting revenue. The first revenue will come from oil and gas. At the same time, we are currently beginning to sell units both in Asia and Europe. We actually closed the sale last week in Europe. And we also have different sales deals that are cooking right now, and that will come out in the coming weeks and months. So establishing a base in all those different markets and start rolling from there.
Yeah, Riggs, did you agree with that? Are you guys on par?
Yes, but JL's being very, very conservative. When he talks about establishing a base, he's talking about kicking it old school with the revenue. Okay,
Wow.
I just want you to know that.
Kicking it old school with the rev is what I think it was Riggs
Yeah,
that
man.
just said.
Throwing it down.
Riggs, when do you come back into San Diego? I want to get you in studio here.
I'll see you next week.
All right, very good. Riggs Eckelberry, of course, CEO of Origin Oil.
Bottled water.
JL, I hope this is the last time we'll see you. Come down here and join us and stuff as we watch what happens next. And very exciting 2014 for you guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks so much, JL.